YouTube and on Instagram. Because I sent out a newsletter last week about timeline jumping and manifestation, right? So the feedback that I've been getting from that video, or excuse me, from that newsletter, is just explaining basically how I would, hey, hey, Leah, how a person will go from um, being in a situation where they are deeply like, let me back up. So many threads of thought are coming through all at the same time. So let me be clear. I am sharing how to timeline jump, how to manifest what it is that you desire in your life, um, in accordance with your destiny, right? In accordance with what is the best and the highest for you personally. Um, these are techniques that I've always used in my business, with my child, um, uh, able to be successful in so many endeavors, whether it be in business or, believe it or not, also in love, even though I am um, not married. But there's just been so many times that I manifested the perfect person for me at that time, the perfect job for me at that time. And now that I am in this second stage of life, kind of in this way that I'm able to align, um, and use certain techniques to really align myself with the divine feminine in myself, the God within myself, the different elements of spirit that help to propel me into the success. I really want to be able to share that with you. And so, one of the ways that I do that is through a fasting technique, or what I call a timeline jumping technique, which aligns, hey, enhanced souls. I think that's Ian. If that's Ian, if that's you, let me know if that's you out there. Um, but these techniques that I use in order to manifest, um, is a very set, disciplined way. You have to be very. Yeah, I was just thinking about you, so I'm so glad that you're on here, Ian. Um, is a very set way to um, timeline jump or to manifest what it is that is in your highest and your best, right? So that is what I call a 40-day, 40-night sadhana or fasting, that helps to align your head and your heart. It takes a bit of discipline, it takes a lot of devotion. Um, and within those 40 days, you evolve, you spiritually evolve into the spaces and places that are best for you. And so things begin to line up and things begin to just drop into your lap. Synchronicities begin to happen. Hey, Tasha 360. Different manifestations start to just show up in your life. Uh, Things expand for you in the ways that everybody talks about in terms of abundance. You have to decide what that success looks and feels like to you. You have to somatically change your internal responses. Um, Yesterday, I went on a botanical hike. There's no amount of money that can pay for me to go on those hikes. I feel so alive and free and successful when I'm just on an hour outside with plants and learning about their language, right? And their language in turn helps me to help others to heal themselves through herbs or teas or tinctures or whatever the case may be, right? So that's a part of my work day. Hey, Mambo Soleil, how you doing? Um, and so what happens during this 40-day sadhana? What happens when you are intentionally manifesting your best and your highest? You have to do steps such as find something that is habitual to you, right? Something that probably doesn't do much for your body, your mind, your spirit, your thoughts. Um, in this last one, I chose to put cannabis down. Cannabis because I found myself feeling as if that was somehow a connection to source. That is not true. I'm always connected to source. And then I also took away 90 Day Fiance, right? So it's my go-to what do you call it? The reality TV show. I wanted to manifest love in my life, but instead of manifesting that in my real life, I was watching a television show. So I had to check myself. Like, do you want real life, a real man that you can travel the world with, that you can have new experiences with, or do you want to sit in here and watch a reality TV show? Right? So I took those two things away because those gathered an energy, those gathered a Shakti, they gathered an energy of what I really love and wanted to manifest in my life, which is calling in clarity and spiritual guidance for myself and for my clients. Right. So I needed to put down anything that would possibly block me from doing that. And then I wanted to put down any illusions that I had around love. And then I was able to, every single day, in addition to this, you do the actual meditative work, right? Of just clearing out your chakras, taking at least 5 to 10 to 30 to an hour. However, I'm at an hour. That is not necessarily a householder's practice. Most people practice meditation for about 15 minutes per day. If they're really good, they do 15 minutes per day in the morning and then 15 minutes before they go to sleep. These kind of statistics are always coming from people who are top ranked CEOs, those who are innovators, those who are really people like Oprah, for lack of a better term. People like Oprah do guided or stillness or mantra techniques to move themselves further into their own abundance, into their own genius, into their own greatness. So within those 40 days, you stay very devoted, right? You stay very, very devoted to what it is that you are manifesting in your life by, for 40 days and 40 nights, focusing during that time on what it is that you want to manifest in your life. And then you're also noticing. Now, this is one of the key things to learning it is you're noticing when I want to smoke weed, when I want to have that glass of wine, when I want to yell at my partner or whatever the thing is that you've decided, or if I talk negatively, right? Some of us speak very negatively of ourselves. Whenever I'm talking negatively to myself, uh, in what ways does this feed me? What am I telling myself during those times? What is going on with me internally? And just allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that you feel in that absence, right? So for me, when there were times that I was yearning or, desired to um, have love in my life, then I found other ways to share love. I either called a sibling, I called a loved one, I called a friend. I welcomed in self-love during those times. But I didn't wander towards the TV looking for it to fill up that space of loneliness and love that I desired. I filled it up with actual people and connections. And when it was time for me to fill that space with weed or some type of spiritual connection, I just stopped and listened. Right? I stopped and listened to what my intuition had to say during those times. I noticed the ways the spirit was speaking to me. I was grateful, to always kind of have this connection to source. And it wasn't based on anything. It wasn't based on me being able to relax because I had cannabis in my system, right? I am just divine source without any type of aid. And so whatever it is that I desire, I don't need any outside source to connect me with that wealth, with that abundance, with a clear mind on how to work and share my gifts with everyone around. Right. And that's so having to get kind of my own inner, you have to get your own inner kind of thing in there. You've got to jumble it up. You've got to be able to do the work. It gets challenging. So what I did during that time, I think we're right at 10 minutes. I told myself it's going to be less than 10 minutes. But what I did during those times is the things that I wanted to watch. I noticed I wanted to vibrate on the frequency of champions, right? So I started to watch reality shows that were about Simone Biles, Kamala Harris, Madam C.J. Walker. I'm always drawn to authors and writers like Octavia Butler. So I would pick up and ingest the frequencies of champions, of those who spoke from spirit. I would fill myself up with frequencies, and I started to also date. Right? I put myself out there on Bumble. I did the research on what app would get me the type of man that I truly desired, someone who is spiritual, someone who is confident, someone who wants to be married, right? And I focused my energy on those things so that I would be able to meet someone that is great and also complementary to the vibrations that I'm currently putting out, right? So instead of giving it over to the TV, I gave it to the actual connection that I wanted to have. So it's not an over the night thing, but what I was able to gain clarity in this kind of what I like to call monk mode, which this whole live will be uh, aided with another video on this type of meditation and manifestation that brings you to a higher source. I'm going to send this out later on today. So if you're not on my mailing list, please jump on the mailing list and just kind of look at another video that I just recently watched on monk mode, that I love, that is explained through a masculine lens, that I just really, really, really enjoyed. That helps you to understand fasting and being your higher self and getting in the flow of what is the highest and best for yourself, and what it looks like to actually make that happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you for those of you all who stayed on and listened. If you have any questions, please drop them wherever you can find me. I love emails. So if you are on my newsletter, email me so that we can start the conversation. And anytime you see me live and you have a question, you can always just drop it in the chat and I will answer. All right. Have a good one. Have a good one. Have a good one. Have a good one. Be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of loving yourself.